Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
There we are. Hey, we're back. Hey, there's Richard Vetere right there.
Hey,
there.
Gary.
Hey. Well, I'm glad we could see you. We couldn't see Maya the whole time. We heard her voice, but her video was not coming through.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it was strange. But thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here with us. And Richard is the playwright of the world premiere that we did back 2 years ago, ZAGLADA. And I wanted to get Richard on here and talk a little bit about that and tell us a little bit about what else he's got going on and things like that. This is for anybody who doesn't know. This is for our version of the Giving Tuesday, which we're doing a month early because we'll be in tech during the actual Giving Tuesday. And I wanted to do what I am going to copyright the term streamathon. So there you go. And we've got this going. We're going to be doing this I'm going to be doing this for 24 hours. So I don't know if my old body can do that. I don't know if I'm Jerry Lewis worthy or not, but I'll certainly do my best. And so if you're watching this and you want to see or you want to donate, go to ensemblestage.ludus.com/donate and go from there. But anyway, welcome, Richard. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man. And hey, sorry all that happened up there. I was just blown away when I was watching it. God damn. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it's amazing how quickly this town is recovering and lifting each other up and everything. And I mean, we completely lost our water infrastructure. All of our sewer lines, all of our water supply lines were wiped out.
Jeez.
And that was a month ago. And we've got back water now.
Great.
Yeah. They brought in crews from out of town, and FEMA's been a big help. And the local construction companies around here have been doing a great job and everything. But yeah, now we have water. But lugging gallon jugs of water so you could flush a toilet every day was not fun.
Wow.
But
oh, man, well, that's good news to hear. I mean, it was just it's such a beautiful place. It didn't make sense to me, but hey, that's great. And
I mean, the thought of being up in the mountains of North Carolina, you would be hit by a hurricane is
insane. It is insane.
Yeah, widely ridiculous.
I'm loving the photos you got up on the screen here, man. Great.
Yeah, man. Yep, that's it was. Yeah, I wanted to remind everybody of there are probably some people out there that didn't get a chance to see it, but I wanted to show some photos and kind of get your thoughts on that process that we had here and this being a world premiere. And before that, I got to tell you this story. You know how and it'll happen with this hurricane too that I was involved here just happened. But there's those moments in your life when it's like no matter how long ago they were, exactly where you were at when they happened.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the first time I picked up a copy of ZAGLADA.
Oh, wow.
And we were at the SETC annual meeting or whatever it is. And this was just before COVID. I mean, this was as soon as we got home from that meeting, about 3 days later, they shut down the country because of COVID. But we were there and we went to the table that the publishers table and we're looking around and He sees us picking a lot of things up and putting them down and picking them up and putting them down. And he goes, "Are you guys looking for anything in particular?" And I said, "Well, you got to understand, we're a small theater. We want a show that really doesn't have any more than 4 people. It needs to be on a single set, or if nothing else, a simple set that and it has to be a good story. More than anything else, it has to be a good story." And he goes, "Well, you looking for comedy, drama, whatever?" I said, "It doesn't matter. If it's a good story, it's a good story. It could be comedy or drama as long as it's a good story." And he picked up ZAGLADA and he goes, "We just got this in." And I said, "I have to be honest, I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing, but I've kind of looked through it, and this might be what you're looking for." And so we went ahead, we kind of thumbed through it, looked at it, looked and read the back cover and thought, well, that's a wonderful premise, which I want to get into with you. And then we went home, and then of course COVID happened, and we thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity. Let's read ZAGLADA. And as soon as we read that, it was like, okay, that's on our to-do list. That is us. We have to do this show. And that's how we started the dialogue with chatting with you, and because I couldn't believe it had never even been done before. It was so strange for me to envision that wonderfully written of a show had not been done. But I guess it had just recently been published, so it wasn't like it had been out there for a while.
That's right.
We just happened to luck into it and came across that wonderful piece of theater. But anyway, so this ZAGLADA was this. You're not new to playwriting or even writing for the screen. You've been doing that pretty much all your life. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've been lucky. Started as a poet, have 3 books of poetry published, and then started writing plays right after I got my master's from Columbia in comparative English lit. And I was always fascinated by the theater itself. So I started writing plays, and then the plays led to movies and TV. So I go back and forth all the time. And by the way, that was a terrific production. I've told everybody, Gary, that you did a great job, you guys up there. Excellent production. And those who missed it, that's sad, because it was one of the best productions I've seen. And it was a world premiere of my play.
Yeah.
But the history of the play was that I developed it in the Actors Studio in the PDW in New York. And it took about 9 months of writing and rewriting, basically bringing in scenes. And I immediately thought of my publisher, and I said, I'm going to send it to them. And they loved it. And they said, we got to publish it. And, this is one of those fallacies that you got to have a play produced before you get it published. No, I got to publish first.
Well, I think that also, I mean, don't sell yourself short. I don't think if I would have sent in a play that they would have said, oh, sure, go ahead, we'll publish it. No, I think it had to do with your reputation and the quality of work you showed in the past. But anyway, continue.
Yes. Well, interesting. Linda Hobbin, who is in charge of acquisitions at Dramatic Publishing, she had said to me, she wrote, and she said, I am so involved with this woman's struggle, meaning Sonia.
Yeah.
That she said, I just love this play. And I didn't think of that, when you write a play, you don't think of just one character, you're thinking about the play.
Yeah.
But, and also, I could tell your audience, it's a play I thought about for maybe 35 years. I had been thinking about this idea for years, decades. And it wasn't until the Actors Studio said, hey, you got to write a new play this season. I said, okay, I have this idea, but I don't know how to get into the play. And then just when that happened, I read a newspaper article. I told my students, read newspapers. Of course, they don't even know what newspapers are.
Yeah.
But I happened to read a local paper from my old neighborhood in Queens called Maspeth. And this guy was arrested, which I had known that it was over decades. Occasionally, somebody would be arrested. It's actually in Wikipedia. and they would be arrested for being guards at concentration camps.
Mm.
And they were arrested for lying on their passport applications that they were guards at either Auschwitz or whatever.
Yeah.
And just that time, as I was thinking of the play, a guy was arrested, but he was arrested because he took a shot. He was a 90-year-old man, took a shot at a journalist who knocked on his door to interview him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the beginning of the thought of opening the play, but here's what got me. When he was arrested, he said to the police, "Why are you arresting me? I'm not a Jew."
Oh,
I know.
so this is all real. This is real.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
Yeah, Gary, I thought I had said that. See,
Yeah. I knew you told me that it was the basis, but that actual line I didn't realize was a legitimate line. Wow.
Well, I jumped out of my chair when I read that, and I said, "There's my play."
Yep.
So I got him. You know, like Kozlowski was a character I've been thinking about for years. He's the man that's arrested for lying on his passport application in 1946 when he came here.
Right.
And then Sonia was a character. I knew Maya at the studio. She was actually helping me. She was directing the piece as I was bringing the pages. She never played the character at the studio.
Mm.
And I was learning more about, I had friends in Homeland Security. And then I created the journalist because she was in the original article.
Yeah.
And then I wanted a character that kind of represented me, meaning I was never a cop, but I had family members who were cops and I knew cops. And I wanted to make this guy like my Italian American friends who would say things like, you know, the Holocaust was years ago. Why prosecute these people? You know, there was the occasional that.
Right.
And I was always like, yeah, no, you know. And so that's Sonia. So it all came together. The tough part of writing the play was not the characters. The characters are easy. It was the structure of the play.
Mm.
You know, the interrogation was the easy part. It was just every time I brought in pages to the actor's studio, you know, I got comments like, "Kozlowski's very sympathetic," and they were upset. And I said, well, I don't know if he's sympathetic, but the point is, you know, he was thrust into this position.
Right.
He you know, for the audience, he was made a capo. And a capo is somebody who is a guard over the other prisoners. He's a prisoner.
And Kozlowski is the old man who they see sitting at the table there. Yeah.
Right. And he's the guy who lied on his passport application.
Right.
And Sonia's job is to, and why she wants him prosecuted is because that she feels he was involved in the killing of Jewish prisoners in Buchenwald, which was a work camp.
Right.
And she has other personal reasons. I don't want to say too much because maybe somebody wants to get the play and read it. But her job is to find a country that will prosecute him, because in this country we do not prosecute people for international war crimes. And that's basically the ticking clock. She's given 48 hours, I think, or 72 hours to find some country that will take him. Now, this guy that the true story was happened. He did find there was a country that extradited him. This is just a couple of years ago, like pre-pandemic. And I have done some research trying to find out what happened to him, and I can't. I haven't. I should look again, but I can't find what happened to him. But he was sent to another country, and I think it was Germany, to be prosecuted for war crimes.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, it's just and the thing that I found intriguing, I guess the first thing I found intriguing about it was the take that it had. It was such a fresh take on, and that kind of exploration I wasn't familiar with had ever been done. You know, there was always in this one. And I loved the way that it wasn't preachy, and it wasn't judge. Everybody had their own, or each character was so truthful and honest.
Mm-hmm.
And and Kozlowski, you know, everybody, your immediate knee-jerk reaction to his situation is, well, I wouldn't have done that. But yet when you hear all the story behind it, it's like, well, would you or wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Think about it. And that was what to me was the real hook on that, was creating that dialogue of and it's like I told Maya when she was on back at 11 o'clock, she was on here and we were talking. And I said, that's how I know when it's a good show, when we've done a good show and we've done the show justice, is when they're walking out of the theater and they're not talking about what they're going to get to eat or if they're going to go get a drink afterwards, but they're talking about the play. And, and the one discussion that one of the discussions I'd heard was with her. And I talked about how I loved the ending because it left it open. And so many people were like, well, did she take those pills? Did after that, like, they would actually come up and ask me, so how does it end? And I said, that's how we didn't like cut off 10 pages of the script. That's how it ended. And they go, well, yeah, but did she take the pills? I said, well, that's kind of that's for you to make out. And then we had that same number of people that I would see here walking by. They wouldn't talk to me about it, but they were talking to each other and they were having these literal arguments on the way to their car about, well, no, but I wouldn't have done that. But, oh, yes, you would have. If you would have been in that kind of position. It was great. I loved hearing that.
Yeah, that's one of the things as a playwright, at least for me, I'm not looking to tell the audience what to think. I'm looking to say to them, think, what do you think is my thing? And yeah, that was really so well done too by the actors and you, Gary. Very powerful. I mean, I have my favorite moments in the play too. And
now, what was your favorite moment that you mentioned?
Well, one was, and I loved how you staged it too, is when Kozlowski kept denying that he didn't kill one single Jew. He says that through the scene, and Sonia pushes him and then starts naming the women that he did send, and not to ruin the play, but to protect the woman he loved, who was also Jewish. And when Sonia says, "These are the Jews you killed," he turns them over to the SS to save the woman that he's in love with. And I always wind up getting so friggin' emotional. And the last scene too with Kozlowski and Sonia, when he says, "Hey, I saved your mother, so you were born," and she said, "I was born dead." And then he says, "Well, my favorite line in my own play is, then we all died at Buchenwald."
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Primo Levi. I forgot the famous man who had survived Auschwitz, and Levi commits suicide. And the line is, Primo Levi died in Auschwitz 40 years later.
Yeah.
So you and I, we're lucky as Americans. We haven't been through this kind of thing. And it was actually Friedman, Ms. Friedman, the professor, who said what she really liked about the play was that it was an American point of view of what happened in the Holocaust, and I'm not Jewish, which also I brought something else to the play, I think, was trying to bring an American who wasn't in the war, really never really talked about it in my family, but it was something I heard a lot about when I was at Columbia. And then I wanted to bring the African American idea of slavery in this country. And it's funny, when I was at Columbia, there was always a lot of talk of comparing the Black experience and the Jewish experience. So I said, I want to see how that works. And that was a hard thing writing, developing it at the studio.
Right.
Because I know I was leaving myself up to, because, I had some people going, how could you write about these people when you're not them? And I'm like, excuse me, that's my job.
Yeah.
And, get good directors and good actors who know and could say to me, no, this isn't true. That is true. And I never had anyone come up to me and say, well, you can't write this. Because I think it's my job, being on the outside, to actually write this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank God you thought that was your job. It's just such a wonderful piece of theater, and um, I want to remind everybody that we're talking to Richard, and I was worried about butchering. Is it Vetere or Vetere or
Well, if you're in Italy, it's Vetere. But if
Vetere?
yeah, but if you're in New York, I grew up with Vetere.
It's Hey You.
Lauren, yeah, and Lauren Bacall, when I did my play Hail the Hero, that was on A&E at the General Motors Playwrights Theater, that was produced by the Nederlanders. I wrote a play about Nathan Hale,
Mm,
and she introduced me, Lauren Bacall, as Mr. Vetere.
Vetere.
So,
Okay.
so
Well,
I anything is fine, but
yeah.
I'm used to Vetere.
Well, he was, and then that's what Maya referred as Vetere, and so that's where I got that pronunciation. But anyway, Richard's the playwright of this wonderful play, ZAGLADA, which we had the honor of being allowed to be the
World
theater that
premiere.
did the world
Yeah.
premiere, and I got to tell you, I people don't realize how often my past life comes into play
Mhm.
with a theater, but it especially did with this one because I was a cop for 20 years, so I
Yes.
kind of understood. I understood at least the logistics and the technical aspects of controlling the prisoners and going out there and
Right.
so I think I brought a bit of believability to that.
Oh yeah,
That, but
absolutely. In fact, Maya brought that up too. She felt very comfortable you directing that you knew this world,
yeah.
because the whole play takes place in a precinct,
Hmm.
and an interrogation room. So the detective's office and so
Yeah.
yeah, you had all that. I wasn't concerned about that at all.
Yeah, no, it was, and it was such a great experience. And now you were up here for, was it
Yes.
like the first or the tech, was it tech week and into the
Yes.
first weekend of the show? That's what I
Yes.
thought.
Yeah, I was up there. It was great fun. I was trying to figure out how to get from the airport. I didn't realize it was so far up in the mountains.
Yep.
I was telling people I thought, because there wasn't even a bus. So I said, I'll hitch. And then you got Justin to pick me up, and
Yep.
we had a great time. It flew by the ride back and forth. It was so beautiful up there. I did my sprints in town.
Oh God, I know
And,
you tell me about that every day and make me feel guilty. But yeah,
and the place I was the bed and breakfast was great. Though I gotta say, those breakfasts I could not eat. That was a lot of food.
yeah, that was at the Perry House, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
with Mike Dunn. Yeah,
Yes, very comfortable, great. I was right there to walk right to the theater.
yep.
And you had great audiences, man. There were great
Mm.
audiences. I think we got standing ovation at least every time I was there.
Yeah, we did. We
And
absolutely
the
did.
talkbacks were great. Talkbacks were great.
Yeah, I enjoyed those. So that, I mean, we didn't do them after you. Matter of fact, we did them specifically. We don't do talkbacks that often because a lot of times they're kind of unproductive and
Right.
self-grandizing, and I'm not into that kind of stuff. But since how we had the playwright there, and people asked some really good questions about it, and had some really good comments. So
Well, you did a great job moderating too, because someone had mentioned. I remember he said, "I wish I got to know more in the play about Black Lives Matter," and you said, "Well, that's the point. Look it up."
Yeah.
It wasn't my job to,
Yeah.
I'm expecting my audience to do some reading.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we're yeah, and I do remember that question. It's like, yeah, I won't even get into my thoughts when that question was or when that was raised. But
Some things too, Gary. Like someone turned to me at intermission because I think you introduced me, and she said,
yeah,
"Oh my God, there are people that deny this ever happened." And I didn't know. I know she wasn't a denier,
right.
but she was shocked because what I have in the play is researched. I mean, this is real stuff.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I had help too. Maya's sister works at the American Holocaust Museum in D.C. And she was helping me with the factual stuff, and a lot of stuff I read and stuff I see in movies. I always tell my students, I watch a lot of film. You learn stuff about film, through film.
Yeah.
So nothing, and nothing was in there that wasn't. So it was kind of shocking when she said that to me. She was actually almost out of breath. I looked in the audience and everybody was really touched, which was great.
Yeah.
Which was great,
Yeah. Well, it was a great show, and we were so honored to be the ones to first present it, and I appreciate the fact that you came in here to be with us to help promote our Giving Tuesday, our Streamathon Giving Tuesday that we have going on here, and if there's what do you got real quickly, what do you got going on right now?
Well, number one, we got a nice grant for ZAGLADA, seed money, and Len Carew from Blue Bloods loves to play.
Lisa knows Len Carew from way back when.
Yes. Yeah, Maya told me. I remember when I was up there. Later she told me. Yeah. So we are working real hard. We're going to be doing a nice big reading with a foundation that might help us get it off Broadway in New York.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I had a new novel published since I've seen you called She's Not There.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and it's published. It's set in 1965. A young kid's mother runs away, and the father doesn't know what to do with him while he's trying to get his wife back.
Yeah.
And he sends the kid upstate New York, and the kid's never seen a cornfield. So it's all about a young city kid learning the country at 13 years old and his first romance.
And who's the publisher on that?
It is published by, I'll never pronounce it, at CUNY, Bodega Press. Bodega.
And can people pick it up on Amazon?
Oh, it is all over the internet.
Okay, cool.
It's all over. And I'm working on a movie with Tony Kaye, the guy who made American History X.
Yep.
And I am I just was in DC. I wrote a play about Joe McCarthy.
I remember seeing that. Yeah, that you'd said that on Facebook. You were working.
Yeah, No Sense of Decency, and we did our reading at the New Democracy Festival in DC.
How many people are in that? How many characters in that?
There are 4, and then I'm doing a reading at the Actors Studio, and I just brought in a 5th character.
You're killing me.
No, but I'm not sure that the play works without him. Because he's only in 8 pages.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. If you want, I could show it to you. I could send it to you.
I'd love that. Yeah,
it's an interesting look. I humanize McCarthy. I don't care what your politics are, because I know what mine are. But, he was a human being.
Right.
And it was a real battle, Gary, between him and Lester Hunt Sr.
Oh, yeah.
My play focuses on the last years of McCarthy. It's him, his young wife, Lester Hunt, and Lester Hunt's son, Buddy, who's in his 20s in college. Yeah. And one set. It's all one set.
Wow. Well, thanks, Richard. Appreciate you joining us here. That was it's Richard Vetere. Vetere. Appreciate you being here with us, and I'm looking forward to reading that copy.
Definitely, Gary, and good luck up there, man.
All right, thank you, Richard. All right, everybody, we will be back shortly, and we will be talking with Samantha, which I see is in the green room waiting right now. So we're going to get off and then get back on here, and we'll be right back with you here in about a minute or so. Thanks.